This is a public service broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the top most important traffic rules for car drivers. Many people might feel offended, but it just takes one look at our traffic, especially in Dimapur and Kohima, to know that Nagaland's roads aren't the safest or the most educated roads. And I don't mean that the roads should have gone to college or school, but us, the drivers. People sometimes joke that the Naga people might have learned how to drive by Google searching, or we might have learned driving by through email or phones. So there are some who are responsible drivers, many of them actually, but by observing how we ride the streets and how we see things work on our streets every day, I think many of us are still oblivious that our streets are not public property. It does not belong to our aunts or uncles. It does not belong to us. It is public property, but we fail to recognize that. We use it very, very carelessly. We also disregard the lives of others. We disregard property. So when we are using our roads here, so let's talk about some of the rules that I believe are something that we should be really keeping in mind, not only for those who are driving but also those who don't use cars. The first rule: do not drink and drive. I think we do not need an explanation in this. Just recently in December 22, about 40 children had a narrow escape when their drunken bus driver ran into an auto rickshaw in Mumbai. Psychologists say that drunken people are actually aware of what's going on, and they know the risk from their action. They know the consequences. They are aware of it. Maybe they are not in full control of their bodies, yeah, but psychologists say that they are in full control of their bodies, even when they are fully in control of their thoughts, even when they are drunk. So the only difference here is that they don't care when they have taken alcohol, because alcohol numbs your feeling for fear, and it numbs the threat to risks. So you know what the consequences are, you know what the threats are, but your mind doesn't register the risks. You don't care, your mind doesn't care. So that is why it is dangerous to drink and drive, because alcohol is a depressant, meaning it slows down processes in your brain, and it also affects your central nervous system. It will then affect the body's nerve endings and slow down your brain functions. So this causes feelings of excitement and numbness. So when you're numb, it means that you might not know, but you are not afraid. You don't care, You're not afraid that your driving is going to harm someone or damage some property that does not belong to you. So your feelings are all numbed by the alcohol that you have taken. So besides risking the lives of people on the road, the lives of co-passengers, and of course your own life, being caught driving while drunken can land you with a big fine and of course a very long jail time. So Western countries have this concept of designated driver. A designated driver is someone who is in a group but does not drink or is not allowed to drink with that group during social events by a group he goes out with. So if you are going out with your best friends and all of them are planned to drink, then you are to declare that you are not going to drink. Why? Because you are going to drive them back home. It is illegal if you are drunk and you drive. So that's how things work in Western countries. So that way, when all of your friends are drunk, your friend who doesn't drink or who did not drink during your outing will have to drive you home, so that your parents won't have to live a life of sorrow later on. The attorney agency Wapner-Jones says it has been estimated that designated drivers have saved approximately 50,000 lives since the idea was popularized in the 1980s. In fact, the designated driver program was that effective that only 6 years after the initial campaign started, the number of drunk driving related fatalities was at an all-time low, with an overall decrease of 30%. That's a lot. So according to Indian laws, if you are found driving with a blood alcohol level of more than 0.03% in your body, then you are breaking the law. The permissible limit for alcohol is 30 mg per 100 ml of blood. If you are found drinking and driving, you will be penalized for an amount ranging from rupees 2,000 to rupees 10,000. Drunken driving also attracts imprisonment for a period ranging from 7 months to 4 years. Remember, it is not only your life that matters, other people have lives too. So don't drink and drive. Even better, don't drink at all. I think that would be my advice to anyone who drinks. I think the Nagaland Road Safety Authority can introduce measures to instate designated drivers. That will be a really great initiative, and I think it will also save lives. The state government has already constituted a state level road safety committee and district level road safety committees to carry out road safety measures. However, I'm not sure if they are overseeing implementation of traffic rules on the ground. I don't want to insult your intelligence by explaining why you shouldn't drink and drive, because I think the story speaks for itself. There's the second rule: always wear your seat belt. Driving a car with a seat belt not only assures your safety, but also mandated by the law. So it is a basic common sense. Whenever I see drivers wearing seat belts, it gives me hope that Nagaland's more than 2 million people have at least several people who love life. I wouldn't want to insult your intelligence by explaining why wearing a seat belt is important. Third rule: don't talk on the phone while driving. Even if you are using a wireless device and your hands are free, it is not the action but the distraction to your mind. Studies have examined distracted driver safety against data in regard to drivers using hands-free devices. So these studies show that the crash risk is not significantly different from either of the sides. There is only a marginal improvement and barely any difference. In other words, whether you are using hands-free, Bluetooth, or just earphones, or whether you are just holding a physical phone to your ears and talking while driving, the level of risk is almost the same. There is no change. There's only a marginal improvement in the difference between the two. But drivers with no distractions at all, of course, are still less likely to crash than those who are busy on the phone or are distracted by other devices. So according to the new motor vehicles rules that came into effect in 2020, the driver can use his or her mobile phone only as a navigational device. You can use Google Maps, you can check out the maps to see which direction you are going and all that, but you cannot use it to talk on the phone. So that's one of the rules. If you are caught talking on the phone or for any purpose other than navigation, you will be fined for an amount of up to rupees 5,000 besides a jail term. It will be great if Nagaland police would get serious with this, because I think it is very common for many, almost all of us, I think, that we don't use seat belts, we talk on the phone while driving, and of course we have a lot of reckless drivers too. So there's the fourth rule: rash driving and speeding. Again, I don't want to insult your intelligence by explaining why you shouldn't speed and why it is dangerous to fly on the roads. Responsible citizens drive within the speed limit even if the entire road is empty and nobody is watching them. It is as much about safety for yourself and others as much as it is for your self-respect and respect for the law. So another aspect is mechanical failure. As my elder brother once said, no matter how technologically advanced your car is, no matter how skilled your driving is, a car is still a hunk of bolts and wire and metal and iron without a mind of its own. There will always be mechanical events that might occur beyond your control. So I think it was just the previous year, about I think in November or December, that Hornbill TV went to picnic in Newland, and along the way while we were going, Suddenly, and we were not even going fast. The road was not that good, so we were going slowly, and suddenly the steering wheel of the van that we were traveling in just set itself free, and we carried into a nearby fishery, or almost went into the fishery. So we were not even speeding, we were just going slowly, and suddenly the mechanical failure happened. It was by God's grace that we didn't drive into the fishery just on the edge of the road. So things like that happen. So it's not just about safety, it's also no understanding that you are not always the one in control of your circumstances, meaning the safest car is the one that has the driver who drives safely, responsibly, soberly. Besides, when you are driving steady, you are also more alert and have faster reflexes, meaning you have a fairly sufficient time to respond to situations fast. For example, you are speeding and a pedestrian or a cyclist or a biker comes out of the bend suddenly. A car might blind spot you from behind and overtake you, you won't even know. Or children might start running out from the corners when you're driving in colony lanes. So if something like that happens, you don't have the time to react. You don't have the time to negotiate through those situations to be able to prevent any accidents. So if you're driving slow, responsibility, being alert to your surroundings, then even if these situations come up, you have a higher chance of navigating yourself out of those situations to prevent any kind of accidents that would cause distress to you and others also. So if you're driving slowly, steadily, you have higher chances of reacting to those situations at the right time. So if you are not speeding, you can navigate these situations fairly fast. Violations of all these basic traffic rules has legal consequences in both jail time and hefty fines, yes, but no jail or fine, ladies and gentlemen, can ever bring back a human being's life back to their family. So drive safe. Those were the stories from Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Keep supporting Hornbill TV. We'll be back with you with more news for you. I'm Al Nguli. See you next time.